I have to admit one sin that I did commit this week, and it causes me some confusion, and I might have to lean into you with a question as a result of it.
Please do.
So I did sneak an extra weigh in.
You did?
Yesterday, Thursday.
All right.
To give myself a sense of how bad is this? You know? I mean, like,
I know, yeah. I'm sure you were curious.
Length do I need to go to salvage some dignity this week, talking with you? Yeah. And to my chagrin, that number that came up yesterday was actually a half a pound lower than it showed up today. And I was very, very well behaved yesterday, despite high levels of stress. I probably took in 50 or less carbs.
All right.
And so how is it that I gained a half a pound overnight? I don't understand. I thought I was doing good.
You're a 327.3 pound human being at 6'4" tall. And they say we're majority water, of maybe, we hold so much water, average human being, which is not 327 pounds and 6'4", holding a lot of water. And that water fluctuation on a day-to-day basis, half a pound for 327, you literally on that short a period of analysis. And I know you probably have had experiences in the past where you've seen the number and the next day you've been strict and you've seen the number go down, and yes, it's gone down. So automatically you assume every time if I were to weigh in and then be strict, the next day it's going to be better. That doesn't always happen, because sometimes the body retains more water, less water. It's just depending. That fluctuation on a day-to-day basis can be so great that you would really not be able, but just based on the amount of salt you consumed and whatever you were eating, or just the amount of digestion that took place, there's just no way a half a pound difference is going to be able to quantify that in a day based on what you did. Even you said you were good that day, which means it did benefit you. It's just not showing up on the scale the next day. Because of some water. Yeah, there's some water fluctuation in there. It certainly.
I should have called you. I should have called you Thursday.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Or first thing this morning, because I've already made other transgressions today.
Because of that.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it was emotional reaction to that.
No
disappointment.
You expected it to be
disappointment. Yeah.
What you did was, and this is a mistake, many people make this mistake. They'll quantify in a 24-hour period. They'll quantify what did they do that 24 hours and what did the scale say yesterday versus today. Yeah. And that shows the effectiveness of how I ate during that period of time. Yeah. There is no correlation. It's just not enough time to be able to get an accurate assessment. It's only 24 hours. That's why I think I've been pretty consistent with my recommendation of once a week weigh-ins, because if you do it more often than once a week, and God forbid once a day, what ends up happening is you get so much of a potential fluctuation in your water weight that you could weigh yourself on a day like yesterday, and then the next day after being strict on the diet, you could weigh a couple pounds more. It could go up 2 pounds. I mean, there could be a 2 pound difference. That would have been it. I know that we would be. Oh man, I would never see you again. Yeah,
I wouldn't be here right now.
No, you would have been.
I would be stuffing myself with a whole pizza, a large, extra large something. So anyway, absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad we're not there. You're talking me off the lid. I'm pretty sure, in lieu of our conversation last week, with the subconscious and the conscious mind, you have pounded that concept into my subconscious mind, but it's so deeply buried. Like, I know it, but I don't know it, and I just don't believe it. Anytime I'm confronted with that twisted scale going the wrong way, it just does not make me feel good.
Well, let me tell you. Let me explain to you also what the issue that you will experience every time you do this if you don't get the result you expect. You weigh yourself on a Thursday. The next, you're going to be, because you see what the weight is, you're expecting the worst. Okay, it's not so great, but I mean, I can make this next day. I'm going to make up for some of this. I'm going to be strict. I'm motivated. I'm going to do what I have to do. It's going to be my best day of the week.
Thursday is my fourth quarter, man. I show up.
Yeah. Yes, you're have a very competitive spirit, and you were in competition with the scale. The scales told you what it was on Thursday. You wanted it to be a couple pounds less on Friday, at least.
One even
for good. Yeah, just at least go down.
Don't go up.
Yeah, and you're working hard to pull that off. It's the dejection of stepping on the scale and feeling as if that was for nothing. Like, I went ahead and did all that I did in that 24-hour period, and not only did I get nothing, I went backwards.
Punished.
Like,
I got
that
punished.
is the worst feeling.
Yeah.
Consciously, you will automatically want to do anything to get away from that feeling, because that there's nothing worse than experiencing a setback after you've done everything right. But this is where you just got to hammer into your head that 24 hours is not indicative of anything one way or the other. So you could do everything perfect for that 24 hours and come out with the number not looking good the next day, because if your body decides it's going to retain more water, has more water retention that day than it did the day prior, maybe you consume something that has more sodium, you're retaining more water, suddenly that number looks worse. And it's not. Well, you didn't gain weight. You did not gain weight on that day, during that day of doing what you did. It wasn't a weight. It was a weight. It looked like a weight gain, but you're looking to lose body fat. You didn't gain body fat doing what you did. It's just your water fluctuation was such that it skewed the number and made it look a lot worse than what it was. But it's demoralizing. There's no two ways about it. By stepping on the scale and seeing what that number is, it regardless of what the reality that you could try to convince yourself of, in that moment, you feel defeated. And when you feel defeated, what do? You get tempted to do something about feeling defeated. I'm going to do what I should have done yesterday instead of following this stupid diet that did absolutely nothing for me. If I have to gain a half a pound by limiting carbs to 50, and that's going to gain me a half a pound, let's see what happens when I go to 500 carbs for today and see what happens. That's
right on. Yeah,
that's the kind of frustration. So
amazing how you understand me.
Yes. It's a recipe for disaster.
How can somebody like you understand somebody like me so well?
I mean, addiction works the same for everybody, regardless of who they are and regardless of what it is that they're trying to battle. It just manifests itself in the same way. And when you're frustrated, that's when you get the temptation to do what it is that you shouldn't do. It just kicks in at its strongest level. And there's no greater frustration than sacrificing for even a day and coming out on the losing end, and based on what you saw. So that just derailed you emotionally. So what did you do today as a result of seeing what you saw? How bad was it, or how bad has it been? Day is not over yet.
Yeah. I mean, it could still get worse. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know, but let's see. I started off the morning pretty rough, and that's really where the problem was. I had McMuffin, sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin, and that's just the beginning. I had a hash brown with that. I did go with the Diet Coke.
Okay.
And actually,
I can't.
To be honest with you, that's something that I did during the Super Bowl too. Which
you were avoiding.
Normally, that would be a day I would indulge in the good stuff. Yeah. I'm a big psycho about Coca-Cola. So
yes,
but I've refrained from that. So Diet Coke's been helping me out a little bit. I used that this morning, but in addition to the sausage, egg, and cheese and the hash brown, I took care of 6 chocolate chip cookies as well from that same establishment,
from the same place.
And then throughout the rest of the morning, I had, don't get upset right away, I had 4 candy bars. However, they were more of like the regular size, like actual 4 for you.
So you actually had 4 as opposed to 8. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a huge sacrifice.
It was basically, in my world, it was 2 candy bars, but
yeah.
Only because I couldn't find the Bitcoins at the store.
Well, thank you for being even more honest.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was ready to all Thursday, I was mentally like, I'm not doing anything now, but I'm going to have fun tomorrow. And then the icing was just all the way spread on that cake when I stepped on the scale.